And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Grey Boys podcast. I am the true prime of the Grey Boy cons, Super Will. And again, this week I am alone. This week was originally supposed to be Brennan's week. He told me what his topic was. I look forward to when it eventually comes out. But as you know, he is a super sports fan, and this week is the Super Bowl. So that's just been his whole weekend, just masturbating into pigskin and pretending that he's actually good at sports. So it is me again. Gene and I actually fought over whose podcast gets to come out this week, because he did his own podcast and I'm doing this one. And as the COO, I made the final decision that my podcast is going to come out, so Gene can go suck himself off, which I'm sure he does anyway. So here we go. As this title says, I am currently watching the Super Bowl. It is the fourth quarter, 4 minutes left. San Francisco 49ers are going to win, the team I was rooting for, because it's close to the number 69, and that's good enough for me. But I'm not going to talk about stupid sports. I'm going to talk about stupid shows. And I have been waiting to talk about this show my whole life. I'm going to talk today about Sword Art Online, the biggest piece of shit I've ever watched, and I've watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup. So let's begin. A quick brief history about my relationship with Sword Art Online. So there actually is a 4th Grey Boy. Originally he was gonna come on and do a podcast with us months ago, but he's too much of a fucking chicken to actually record himself talking. He's too uncomfortable with it. So I'm gonna talk about him in the podcast because he's an SAO fan. So I'm gonna refer to him. I'll give him a nickname. We'll call him Joseph. So Joe and Gene, they watched SAO when it was airing in Japan, like when it first came out. I didn't. I got they told me to watch it, I think when it was coming out on Toonami, when it was being dubbed. So that was how I got into it. Now, Gene and Joe were into it. They really liked it. And I gotta tell you, I watched that first season, and I mean, every single episode. I'm sorry. Pretty early on in the season, I was like, whoa, this is like a huge piece of shit. I mean, I hated it. I hate all of SAO. I mean, I think I've watched all of it. I've watched every season. I'm about up to date on the current not Alicization, the War of the Underworld arc or season. And I've watched that movie, and it's all bad. I can't, it's so stupid. Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. So I watched each season, and as it went on, I hated it more and more. And I don't understand how it's, like, beloved. Like, if you look on Mal, each season has, like, an average, like, rating of 8 out of 10 or something. And it's just so ridiculous because the plot is just so stupid. The characters are the most one-dimensional characters you could imagine. The main hero is the super cringe edgelord that he's straight out of early 2000s. He's almost like a parody of the main character of Evangelion. Like, that's how emo he is. And of course it's that kind of show where it's like, what if the main character, he was a loner, but he was good at everything. Like, he was like super cool, deep, edgy, he's smart, all the girls like him, he's good looking. Like, it's that super kind of shit. It's like a self-insert kind of thing. And so the first season, the first arc was alright. They're trapped in the game, and they're dying. Then, since then, it's like, how do we make the stakes actually mean something in the show? Because it's like a drama, I guess. And they always find these like stupid back-ass word methods of like, if you die in a video game, you die in real life. And they're always stupid. And so I watched the latest episode on Toonami yesterday, and something happened that it just I knew I had to make a podcast on it. I didn't want to do it with Gene because I don't want any positive like rebuttals about SAO. I just want to rant about how terrible it is. So in the latest episode, Sinan, who was introduced in season 2, she's the blue-haired sniper character, also part of Kirito's harem. There's a scene where she's graphically strangled to death, and it all turns out just to be a MacGuffin. It turned out to just be a dream, and I was kind of taken aback because it was so out of left field. Like, she's barely been in the show for the past 2-3 seasons maybe, and it just so it's just so annoying because it's only SAO gets away with these brutal scenes at women. Like every female character in the show has had has had something happen to her, whether it's been like a traumatic death, rape, and just they all have these horrible things happen to them, and it just happens to them to further Kirito's storyline. I'm not one of those white knights that's like, I need like certain things. Like every anime has to have strong female characters doing this, that. I don't. That's not my thing. I just hate seeing like I hate the hypocrisy because the writer of SAO, I think his name is Reki Kawahara. I read an interview of his last year where he talked about how he wanted to write strong female characters and how he's gonna start doing that, putting the importance on female characters, not just as like fodder for the main character almost. And it's like 2 years later, and it's still the same. It's still, I mean, let me just quickly talk about all the things that happen to female characters. Kirito has a harem of like 6 girls and 1 dude named Klein. Klein is really that one character where you're like, why is he in this harem? But I kind of get it because he's like the best friend of Kirito. Super chill dude. Best character in SAO. So he has these 3 characters who are in his harem since season 1, who we met in the actual Sword Art Online game. I'm not going to mention them much because they are the definition of background characters. They all have names. You never have to know them because you only ever see them in a trio talking about Kirito. Like, it's that kind of thing where they've never had a conversation that didn't have to do with, like, what's Kirito's current events to? Like, what's up with him? So I'm not going to focus on them. I'm going to focus on the main female characters that you should know from watching the show. You have Asuna, who in season 1 was sexually assaulted, almost raped, by these slime tentacle monsters in a video game. She was then later again sexually assaulted by her fiance, who was like 2 times her age. So that's her story. She's Kirito's main girl, I think his girlfriend. She is a bland, one-note character. Just so boring. And in the current arc of SAO, they finally decided to start giving her character development. And it is the worst character development that you could possibly imagine for a character. In the last season of SAO, Kirito is once again trapped in a video game for like the 16th time. And he's trapped with AIs. And the government is treating the AIs like fodder. Like, they're just like, there's AIs to them. They're the computer programs that they're just going to delete and whatever. And she gives like a speech about, how dare you kill AIs? They're they have souls now. They're thinking for themselves. They're like a people. How could you treat them like this? Like a huge, like a meant to be like an oh my god, what a badass speech. And then I think within the same episode, she's talking to another character about the incidents from the first Sword Online season. And she's talking about the creator of it and how she kind of forgives him and doesn't really care that he killed all these people because in the end she got to meet Kirito. That for me, it was just like, Jesus Christ, like these characters really are just terrible. Like, it's just, I don't even root for any of them. They're all just assholes and losers. Like, they're fucking losers. They all have these first world problems. Like, oh no, I'm rich and my mom wants me to go to like a really prestigious college. That was Asuna's main character, like plot point for like 2 seasons. It was like, oh no, I'm gonna be put in an amazing school with a great education. I don't want that. So that's her character. She's terrible. Then you have a character who I genuinely like, who is Sinon. Now, she's the person who was strangled in the latest episode. I liked her character when she was first introduced in the 2nd season. She had a very interesting backstory where she was in the middle of a bank robbery. She wasn't part of the robbery. She was like just a person in the bank. And due to a series of events, she ended up shooting one of the bank robbers. I think killing him. I'm not sure. I know she definitely shot him. Not sure if she killed him. And that almost ruined her life. Like, she had a trauma of guns. She had to move away from her family because it broke her. And she was a really good character in the 2nd season. She was she's the best. I think she's had the best arc in SAO because she's the only character who really had an arc, and I think she was the most well written. And halfway through season 2, they make her like all the other female characters, just another background harem character for Kirito. Infuriating. I know. It's in the movie. She is like barely there. There's a lot of female characters in the show who I think fans like more than Asuna, and I almost feel like the creator knew that, and so at a certain point he kind of just wrote all the other female characters out of the show just so she had no competition. Because in the movie she's not there, and there's another female character who's Kirito's sister, but she's really his cousin. And there was a weird incest angle going on for like 2 seasons with that. It was very weird because she was in love with him. Even she was in love with him when she thought that she was his brother. And then he's like, no, we can't be together because you're my cousin, not my sister. And then she's like, oh, okay, but I still want to be with you. Way stupid, very weird. But she had a big importance in this latter half of the 2nd season, and then since then she's nowhere to been found, to the point where in the movie I think they ask about her once, and then she's like, oh yeah, she went away somewhere, she's not here, she's at like summer camp. Then there was the whole girl with cancer who was the last arc in the 2nd season, and it was like just so like trying to make you feel sad, but I didn't, because the story was stupid. It was a girl who was dying with cancer, and her last dream was to beat a level in a video game, so that she'll be remembered forever by like being the first person who beats it. It didn't work for me because it just, again, it's like it has all these stupid stories revolving around being in video games, and it doesn't work for me. And then the latest then there are 2 characters in the 2nd to last season who would literally just showed up to be raped in front of the main character just so he could get mad. That's really it. Like, it's just like, hey, introduce these 2 characters, next episode they're raped, an episode after that you never hear about them again, they're just gone. And it's like, okay, that's some great female writing. I mean, I had some great characters you made there. And then there's Alice, who actually isn't that bad. I'm waiting to see how they ruin her in the current season, because it's bound to happen. I mean, this guy, it's just, if there's one thing this show has, it's damaged, broken women. But I've been really talking about that. Like, let's move into other side characters in Kirito's group. And that's this blonde-haired boy in the current season named Yugio. He's basically like a clone of Kirito. He's also an AI, and he's just blonde Kirito. And they tried so hard to make him like an important character, like Kirito's equal almost. And it just fell flat for me because he was a bland character, really didn't have a lot of dialogue, I thought. And it just felt like he was Kirito's wingman all the time. Wingman just being like, Kirito would do something and then Yugio would just be there and he'd add some like, dialogue here and there. He had one fight scene with some random knight, and it was like whatever. And then he died. He was introduced and died in the same season. He wasn't memorable, and the show is really trying to make it like this huge, monumental, important character died, and it's just like, nope, a side character that you introduced this season died. You do that like every season actually. And I guess my point is just like, these characters are so bland. Like, they have no layer to them. They're just so one-dimensional. It's just, this is his character, this is what his quality is. That's it. I'm not even really talking about the villains, because all the villains are terrible too. They range from meh to like hilariously stupid. The first villain was a guy who created SAO. The show was weirdly trying to redeem him. I mean, in the show, the guy is responsible for like killing thousands of people. like all the way ranging from grown adults to children. Like he's killed them because he like wiped their minds and basically made them brain dead. And since then, like every season, the show really tries to give reasons to why he was in the right, to the point where all the main characters who are survivors of this traumatic event are just constantly talking to each other slowly, like, you know what, maybe he wasn't so bad. I mean, he just killed some people. I mean, but, you know, he made me this awesome video game. Like, it's really, like, they have, like, such stupid reasons of why they like him. And it all has to do with, yeah, but he gave us the ability to make really cool games. Like, that's it. That's the moral of these people. It's so insane that people think that these are great characters, because they're just such, I root against them all the time. Like anything that tragic happens to just Kirito, not the people around him, but anything that happens to Kirito that's tragic, I'm like, oh my god, I really hope this kills him. I really hope this ruins his life. Then you have Asuna's planned husband that her parents tried to get her to marry, the one who, like, tentacle raped and then sexually assaulted her. He was alright. It was a little weird, because it just, like, it took place in a video game. Like, this grown, like, businessman who was trying to marry into this family and had all these plans, and she's like, yeah, but I'm gonna do all that in a video game. And it's like, okay, you know, whatever your plan is, dude, whatever. Second season was survivors from the first game, wanted to keep killing people in video games. Meh. And then after that, the rest of the second season was, like, these weird little, like, 3-episode arcs that didn't really have villains, except one of the villains, I guess, was Cancer. The only villain who kind of just won at the end. And then the villain of the movie, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about the movie. I could do a whole podcast on the movie and how stupid it was. I actually liked the movie because it was a borderline comedy. Like, it was so hilarious. Like, but they didn't mean for it to be hilarious. Like, it's hilarious. It's kind of like a prequel, the Star Wars prequels. They're funny because they don't know how bad they are. It's like that. In the last 2 seasons, the villain has been an evil AI, like the Pontifex, whatever her name is. And then this current season, the government of Japan hired Japanese mercenaries to attack a Japanese government facility in the middle of the ocean where they're playing video games. Oh my god, it's so stupid. The plot is so over the top. It's I mean, I don't even know, I can just laugh at it. That's all I could really do. Like, the levels of stupid in this are far beyond anything I've ever watched to try and make this like this serious show with real consequences. But you can't help but laugh because literally every problem in this show would be solved if just stop playing video games. That's all it takes. All the problems are video game related. If he just stopped playing video games, his life would be fucking amazing. It would just be him just banging his harem or something. Oh, of course, the harem is 100% into him. It's not even like, there are no sundaries or anything. It is literally just girls openly into him. And they all just chill with him and talk about him while he's there. Like, it's just, imagine him sitting there and, like, 6 girls sitting there like, oh man, Kirito's so cool. He's so talented. You know, that guy who killed all those people, you know, he's pretty cool too. That's all the show really is about. I think the show would actually do well if maybe they switched it to a slice of life. Like a comedy. Like, you know, like a nice 2000s, like, just harem comedy. But it's not. It's like they try to make this serious drama, and it's just so stupid. And yeah, it infuriates me just how much people love it, because they're just so blind to any of the faults. Like, I'm a big fan of Ruby, and I think Ruby definitely has a big toxic fandom when it comes to, you know, we don't accept any criticism of the show. Just, fuck you, you're wrong. Like, it's that kind of mentality. But this show, it's just like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I gotta say, there's not even a lot of, like, negativity. There's not a lot of mean people. There are no trolls. It's just blind devotion to a horrible show, and they just completely ignore any faults of the show. And the reason I'm talking about this alone is because Brendan's not really a fan of SAO. I don't even think he's watched it. He knows nothing about it. It's not a sports show. Like, he likes shows like Free, things like that. Gene and Joe are huge fans of this. I remember one time I went to a convention with them, and Joe got a poster, like it was a free poster, and he got it, and he was saving it. And then I was late to the convention, and I meet them outside the convention, and the first thing they do is they hand me this SAO like treasure hunt game that they're doing in the convention, and they're like, yeah, we filled one out for you too, so you can get your like SAO prize. And it's like Jesus Christ, and they really like it, man. Like, I think Joe stopped watching it because he's just not really able to watch it. He's kind of just like out of anime. He just like sits at home and reading light novels in the dark. And but Gene's into it. He says he's not, but he fucking likes it. Every time he watches it, he's like, yeah, I actually kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. But then he's a fan of that kind of edgelord stuff. I mean, that's his jam. If Goku wore like a black trench coat, he'd fucking nut in his pants. And he loves Goku Black. He loves Goku Black. He's a huge Goku Black fan. Just because he's an edge. Like, he's like, what do you like about him? I mean, I like his outfit. It's pretty cool. Like, that's it. That's it. Like, do you like the arc? I mean, the arc's pretty alright, but he's just an Edgeworth fan. And so, yeah, man, this fucking show, like, I hate watching it. I hate it. I watch it just to hate it. I can't stand it, but I also, I'm too far in. I can't back out now. This is so bad. I just watched this show, just texting Gene like, God fucking damn it, why are you making me watch it? I hate text Gene about hate watching this show. It's so bad. But I will continue to watch it because I am dedicated to finishing shit that I started. And so I think that's going to be it for this podcast. The 49ers, in the time that I've been doing this podcast, the 49ers did not win the Super Bowl. The Kentucky someone's did. I don't know what their names are. Also, Google the coach of the Kentucky football team because he looks like a fat walrus. Like, he looks like a walrus. Like, if you dangled fish in front of him, his tits would start slapping, wanting it. So yeah, football sucks. Nah, football's alright. I like football. Brandon sucks. There we go. That's what I was thinking about. Brendan sucks for liking sports. Gene and Joe suck for liking SAO. And, I'm pretty cool. And, yeah. Thanks, everyone. If you're listening to this, I guess leave a like or something. I don't know. I don't really care. But, definitely in the comments section, write, stop being a pussy, Joe. And, yeah. I guess me, I'm out. Bye!